Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Naomi, and today I have a yoga practice for you and your hips. And this one is specifically for the beginners. So if you are a little bit newer to yoga or a little bit newer to movement and you want to focus a little bit more on your hips, this is the practice for you. So this is going to be a really fantastic practice to help set a really good foundation to help you create more mobility and more strength in your hips, because ultimately it's not just about opening your hips, right? I'm using those quotes. It's not just about opening your hips, but actually about creating healthier hips. So if you're here for that, let's do this. All right, now I have a blanket just in case for under my knees and also to give my hips a little bit of a boost when I'm sitting. And I have 2 blocks just in case. And those are especially there if your hamstrings are a little bit tighter, on a little tighter side, okay? So if you're not sure, it's if you have trouble bringing your hands to the floor with your legs straight, having blocks, 2 of them or something that looks like them will help. Okay, so all that said, let's get started. So you're going to start sitting. Place your feet on the floor out in front of you, a little bit wider than your hips. Okay, and you want room. Okay, now you can place your fingertips behind you and lower your knees over to the right. Now, your right knee will probably not go all the way down. That's fine. Your left knee might not go all the way down. That's also fine. All right, lift your knees back up and take them over to the left. Now I'm saying your knees are moving, but what's really moving are your femur bones, the big long bone of your upper thigh, and your hip socket. Okay, so your knees go up, but it's because your legs are moving in your hip socket over to the right, and then take your knees up and over to the left. Now your hands behind you, keep going, knees to the right. Your hands behind you, knees to the left, are just giving you a little bit of stability. Okay, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, lift your hands away from the ground as you take your knees to the right and to the left. And what you'll notice when you do this is that your butt will start to scoot a little bit forward as you do this. You should have just like walking on your butt. That's what's happening right now. So I'm inching a little bit closer to my camera as I do this. But this is also a really great exercise for mobility. So one more time over to the right. One more time over to the left. Okay, and then come on back to center. And scoot yourself back onto your mat. Now, one of the things, and I just want to do this before we move on, one of the things to be really aware of is to notice how you're moving. So I'm going to turn to the side. The tendency is to sort of like round back a little bit and slouch as the knees go over to the right or to the left. You want to try to keep yourself really lifted. So as your knees go to the left and to the right, you don't want a lot to be changing in your upper body, right? So if you notice, my hands are up and you can just see not a lot is changing. So as you do this practice more and more and become more familiar with the actions, that's something that you want to be just a little bit more aware of so that you are really moving from your hips and not moving from your torso and from other parts of your body, okay? So from here, come onto your hands and knees, please. Now, if your hands are sensitive, you can do this with your hands on a desk or a table. You can do it higher up. I have like newspaper blowing into my screen. I have no idea why. So, but we're just going to roll with it because, you know, that's how life is. All kinds of things will blow into the screen of your life. So come into table pose. Okay, and then all you're going to do here is lift your left leg up and roll some circles. So like I said, if putting your hands on the ground and table does not feel good, you can put yourself up and just have your hands higher up. You can do this standing as well and just put your hands on a wall. Okay, so roll some circles, big or small, with your left leg. And again, you're not trying to move from your knee, right? Move from your hip. Go both directions. Both directions. Yeah. And then take your left leg, step it up to the outside of your left hand. Okay, now this might be where it's nice to have some blocks, because from here what you're going to do is shift your hips back and straighten your left leg so the ball of your foot lifts away from the floor. Okay, and then you're going to bend your left knee and lower your hips down. Okay, straighten your left leg, ball of your foot away from the floor. Bend your left knee, hips go down. And I just moved the block to the inside of my leg so you can see that you're going to want the blocks on either side of your foot. So bend your left knee, hips go forward. Shift your hips back, straighten your left leg. Okay, a few more times. Bend your left knee, hips go forward. Straighten your left leg, hips go back. And not down and back. Keep them lifted so you get that maximum action for your hamstrings. One more time, bend your left knee. And then straighten your left leg, hips go back. Okay, take one more full breath in here. And then as you exhale, bring your left hand back to the inside of your left leg, swing your left knee back into table and switch sides, okay? So from here, right leg goes up and roll some circles. And circles with your hip. Make sure to go both directions. So right leg circles. The circles can be big or small. And like I said, if it's uncomfortable to be with your hands on the ground, you can do this standing and just use the wall for support. Okay, and then instead of stepping your leg forward, you would step your foot forward and step back. So go ahead and stop the circles and step your right leg up into a lunge. You can use your blocks if you need them on either side of your right leg. But as you inhale, straighten your right leg, lift the ball of your foot away from the floor. And as you exhale, bend your right knee. Straighten your left leg, ball of the right foot away from the floor. Bend your right knee. Shift your hips up and back, straighten your right leg. Try not to let your butt go further back than your knee. And then rebend your right knee, hips go forward. Okay, 2 more times. Straighten your right leg, ball of the foot away from the floor. Bend your right knee, hips go forward. Last time, straighten your right legs. The ball of your right foot is away from the floor. Okay, and then from here, instead of going back into table, bend your right knee again and step all the way up to stand. So it's a big step up. That's okay. No big deal. All right, from here, take your legs nice and wide apart, and you can have your blocks nearby in case you need them. Okay, legs wide apart. Toes point forward, heels go back, feet roughly parallel to each other. If your feet turn out a little bit, it's not the end of the world, okay? But that's where you roughly want them to be. Now, give your knees a little bit of a bend and bring your hands down to the floor. Okay, if you need the blocks underneath your hands here, make sure you have them. Okay, now bend your right knee, shift your weight over to the right, and then come on back through center, bend your left knee, shift over to the left. Bend your right knee, shift over to the right, and move your butt way back behind you. And then shift back through center, bend your left knee, go to the left. Again, butt way back behind you, so you're not like swinging your pelvis forward, okay? One more time over to the right. Now this time, turn your right foot out. Keep your hands on the inside of your right leg and really push through your left foot. So your left foot is acting as an anchor for you. And as you walk your hands out, your body is going to want to come with you, but instead, push your hips and your thighs back, way back. Keep your knee in line with your ankle. And that's going to create some serious action through your inner thighs. Okay, squeeze your heels toward one another so you feel even more action there. Maybe walk your hands further away. Okay, now keep pushing through your left foot, walk back in slightly, and straighten your right leg. Now this is where you definitely might need the blocks. So if you need to prop yourself up a little bit, grab those blocks and put them right on the inside of your leg and then rebend your knee. Straighten your right leg, hips go back. Bend your knee. Straighten your right leg, hips go back. Bend your right knee. One more time, straighten your right leg, hips go back. Okay, and then bend your right knee and bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Squeeze your heels toward one another so you feel your inner thighs wake up, and take your left arm alongside your ear. Okay, so this is side angle pose. And you can feel a lot of work happening in your right hip flexor, a lot of work, especially if you push through your left leg, and that'll actually lift you more out of the right side. So you don't feel like you're hanging there. Really push through your left foot, push down through your right leg and your right forearm into your leg, and extend your left arm alongside your ear. Okay? And if that feels good, you can straighten your right arm and start to reach your right fingertips to the floor. Squeeze your right leg against your right arm. Push your right arm into your right leg. And then lower your left hand down, turn your right foot in, grab those blocks if you use them on the first side, bend your left knee, shift your butt way back and over to the left, and then turn your left foot out. I'm just having those blocks here just for a little bit of support if I need it, but walk your hands out and over on the diagonal away from your hips. Now again, your body's going to want to come with you, right? Your knee is going to want to pitch in. It's not dangerous for your knee to do that. It just doesn't help create more opening, right? It doesn't create more strength or mobility. And those two things work together in this pose. So you really have to push through your right foot as though you're pushing it down through the floor. Okay, and then reach your hips back behind you as sort of like they're going somewhere without you. Okay, hips are going way back. Okay, at the same time, keep your knee in line with your left ankle and maybe stretch out just a little bit further. Oh. Okay, then walk back in. Push through your right leg again and straighten your left leg. And then rebend your knee. And again, this might be where you need those blocks. Straighten your left leg, push through your right, rebend your left knee. Straighten your left leg, your hips go way back. Bend your left knee. A few more times, straighten your left leg, hips go way back. Bend your knee. Last time, straighten your left leg. And this time, as you bend your left knee, bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Pull your heels inward so you feel more stability in your hips. Bring your right hand up to your hip. Okay, now the more you push down through your right leg, the more you can stretch out through the right side of your body. Okay, extend your right arm alongside your ear and make your right arm and your right leg like one long limb, okay, that passes through your core. Okay, now as you push your left forearm down into your left thigh, that's going to give you more lift through your left side. Okay, inhale fully. Exhale completely. And then lower your right hand back down to the ground. Okay, now this is another way to get into that other version of this pose. With your right hand down, slide your right hand to the inside of your right leg, squeeze your left leg against your right, and then reach your right arm alongside your ear. Now that might feel easier, it might feel harder, it's just different. You can also grab a block and put the block underneath your hand, and that'll give you a little bit more height, but still give you the feeling having your arm on the inside of your leg. And if you squeeze your left arm into your leg, you're going to feel so much power through your inner thigh, so much power through your hips. That's what we're after. Lower your right hand down, turn your left foot in, and fold forward. Take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then heel toe your feet together just a little bit. Shift your hips from side to side so your feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart right now. And then push down through your legs, come all the way up to stand. And then just to give yourself one more little stretch to take the heat off of your hip flexors, because your hip flexors did a lot there, right? Because that front leg was bent. I want you to take your right leg, step it behind your left, okay? Bring your left hand to your left thigh and take your right arm alongside your ear. And if you round into it a little bit, you're going to feel a big stretch, big opening through the front of your body on the right side. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Breathing is important. Helps your hips, I promise. And then push down through your legs, come on back up. Step your right foot over to the right, and then take your left leg, step it behind your right leg. Okay, it doesn't have to be too far behind, but I would say it's far enough behind that I can lean into it a little bit. So it's not like crossed right behind. A little bit of space. Right hand to my right leg, left arm alongside your ear. And just push down right hand into right leg as you stretch through your left side. Okay, take a full breath in. Full breath out. And then as you push down through your right leg, step all the way back up. And that's it. That is a pretty good, solid foundation to set for your hips to feel more mobility, more strength, and even more stability as you begin to add more layers to your yoga practice and your movement practice. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that it gave you a little bit more to work on for your hips and a little bit of a way in so that you feel like you are creating healthier hips all the time if you do these poses, and then even more after that. So thanks for hanging out with me on the mat. As always, I love being here with you, so let me know what else you would like to see here on this channel, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Until then, bye.